And we are back with another thrilling episode of the Doing All Right here on Voch Lombardi, sitting at the Iron Throne. That's Lombardi. Lombardi. That's
Broaddus.
Bryan Broaddus. Hey, Brian, hold on, wait. I was reading the comments and I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I was reading the comments and I shouldn't be.
There's some positive comments.
This is fantastic. Yesterday on the film session, I don't even know when I do it, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I do call you Bryan Broaddus.
A lot, and my mom loves it.
I call you Bryan Broaddus a whole bunch. It's because I met you as Bryan Broaddus. Like when I first discovered you,
Right.
it's not like we shook hands. Hey, I'm Voch.
Yeah.
Your name is Brian.
Sure.
It was always like I'm texting Will Steele and go, hey, did you hear what Bryan Broaddus said today on the or whatever? You know what I mean? So it's always been Bryan. So when I meet you, what's up, Bryan Broaddus?
Yeah.
How you doing, Brian? It's just a tick now.
Yeah.
We doing the damn thing. And you say, all right,
You need
Voch,
to watch that video, by the way. You did a really nice job breaking that thing down.
appreciate you. You go, all right, Voch, go ahead and take it off. All right, cool, Bryan Broaddus. Here we go with the film, Bryan. And people sick of me saying Bryan Broaddus, and they think it's a bit. They think I'm just saying you. I'm saying it. But when we talking on the phone, I be like, what's up, Bryan Broaddus? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So pardon me, y'all, if y'all sick of me saying Bryan Broaddus. But that's his damn name. Bryan Broaddus is his name.
I'll tell you what, my mom, who listens to our show all the time, she absolutely in love with you. She says, she goes, I love the way he always calls you Bryan Broaddus. I always, and so I'm one of these guys that, like, you know, I'm like, yeah, but I don't look at it as a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's, you know, now we've worked together a while, over a year now, and, you know, in doing this project, I expect it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I was in a marketing meeting the other day where the person,
You was in a what? What'd you say now?
I was in a marketing meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to pay you.
Please.
The thing of it's I need a lot of marketing meetings here with
The first is coming. What'd you say? But please,
yeah, exactly.
But please, what happened?
Rinse do, right?
Rinse
Do. But you know, it's funny. My marketing group in Nita, who does my marketing stuff, or art marketing stuff. She goes. She kept saying Broaddus, Broaddus can do this, Broaddus can do this, Broaddus can do this, and it was Voch, and then it was Broaddus.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, people were probably thinking his first name is Broaddus.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, so, but I worked it with her for so many years when we were together at DallasCowboys.com.
Sure.
And so she always has known me as Broaddus.
Lombardi, like when you get into 3 syllables, you just can't be saying those names a whole bunch.
Right.
Right. But if it's like Bryan Broaddus, it just
kind of rolls.
That's 3, but it just flows. You know what I mean?
Flow. It flows.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not doing a bit here. We are literally this is me off camera when the camera comes on.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm about to do it again, and they're about to hate it, but
yeah, here we go.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, boy, I was watching some film, man. I was trying to take a look at
a little different film this week, huh?
A little different film, man. It's not the green team. It's not those characters.
Yeah, Big Blue.
Very important game though.
Yeah,
division game.
Very
important. You kind of want to catch up in that
home game,
conference game. You don't want to fall behind, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't thrilled with the team that they was playing, but we'll talk about them in a couple of weeks.
The Wizards. You don't like the Washington Wizards?
Boy, the Washington football Wizards look rusty as hell, Brian. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. They didn't beat Cooper Rush last year. I don't know. Yeah. But I was
Marcus Mariota saved the game for him.
Them people just.
Yeah.
I was looking at the New York Football Giants.
Yes, sir.
Bryan Broaddus, and I wasn't inspired at all.
Yeah.
By them.
Yeah.
They got some talent.
They do.
On both sides of the ball. We'll talk about defense tomorrow.
Right.
But they have talent. It's just not all coming together. I'm going to let you lead this thing off, but I think their offense, that's what we're talking about today, is going to live and die by their offensive line.
Yeah.
And I don't think they got the bodies, Brian.
Well, I tell you what, that's if they're going to live and die with their offensive line, Voch, boy, it's going to be a long year.
It's so basically this game is really the Cowboys versus themselves, right? If the Cowboys go out there flopping around, making mistakes, riding the high of what could have been last week, overlooking this team, then it could be a bad week for the Cowboys, Brian, because every team is talented enough to beat you, right? But if the Cowboys hunker down, like I feel good about the matchup, but we will talk about some of the stuff. Did you want to go O-line first, or did you have a certain
the O-line, I mean, I think it's really going to start, and you're our O-line guy, and you do the O-line breakdowns and stuff. And, you know, in talking to some folks with the Giants yesterday, and it's about, you know, I was asking Voch about Andrew Thomas, and will Andrew Thomas, you know, will he be available? And, you know, my guys are saying, listen, he practiced late last week. They tried to get him ready. they're worried about, we always talk about, remember with Diggs, it was the ramp up. What's the ramp up? And that's where I think that they're kind of right now, they're struggling with the ramp up of getting Andrew Thomas ready for this football game. So you might not see him in this one. Now, in his place, has been James Hudson.
Yeah.
Has been, and Voch, I'm going to say this about James Hudson.
Sure.
He's kind of long. He's kind of gangly. He's kind of moves in sections.
Sure.
It's like he's
wobbly.
He's wobbly,
Yeah.
but he kind of stays in front of his guy a little bit. And I think that on the other side, Imagn, I think that's the way, to me, that's the guy that lacks the power.
Sure.
Got some of that steel in him.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of that, like, good set, good footwork, hands in place, but you can walk him. You can walk him. You get underneath him, he will give up and let you walk him back into the quarterback. And I think that when we do our film breakdown on Thursday,
Yeah.
you'll see that probably with some of the stuff you're going to talk about.
How you look at it and how I kind of grade it, we always do common opponents and just things that we just know. Like, we know Dorrance Armstrong, right?
Right.
He was a Cowboy for a long time, so
Sure
we
was.
know his capabilities.
Right.
Dorrance Armstrong was running down the middle of these guys,
Right.
and it was working.
It was working.
He was bull rushing
Yeah.
Imagn
Yep.
and smoking them.
Yeah.
Bryan Broaddus. Hudson, to your point, does move a little better.
Yeah.
But
it's weird.
It's strange. It's strange.
It's almost like he's awkward.
Sure.
It's like he's gonna set. He really tries to get out quick, and so he's gonna jump the count a little bit, And they were playing on the road there at the Commander's place. I almost called it FedEx. It's not FedEx. It's like Northwest something Stadium or something. Yeah. But anyway, he was really trying to jump the count to get out of his stance. Yeah. Because he knows it takes him some time. This is a tall, long guy, and he kicks that thing back, but it's kind of awkward in the way he plays, and it's not pretty. It's almost like watching a little bit too of Guyton at times when he gets a little out of whack, but he manages to stay in front of guys. And I think, to me, and I don't know about with how you really going to feel like. I feel like Imagn, the right tackle's the spot, but John Michael Smith's at center.
Brent, now, first of all, let me just be clear. I think they all can go. I think they all can get the business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you are right. John Michael Smith is the blinking light.
Yeah.
And there was some conversation on social medias, right?
Right.
With Perrion being hurt.
Right.
Does that mean Mozzie plays now? I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so at all.
I don't think the tackle room changes at all.
Yeah.
But even if that's the case, because some people were making the argument, well, Mozzie does well in these games.
Yeah.
That's fine. If Mozzie does well, boy, imagine how good Kenny Clark going to be. That's my mindset, Brian.
Yeah, exactly.
Or how good Toe is going to be. John Michael Smith is a blinking light.
Yeah.
Is a blinking light, Bryan Broaddus. And sometimes they'll put some of the edge guys and line them up right over him.
Right.
And just let them run around him, run through him. I don't know who asked me. I think it was you. You was like, Voch, does John Michael have a footed problem or is it a power problem? It's a both problem.
Yeah.
Bryan Broaddus. John Michael's just not playing that great. So if it's me, if you guys, got guys like Osa, Kenny Clark, even when you rotate those guys out and let, JT go in there, I think you can really take advantage of the center spot. Now, Brian, we were trying to call Donovan Ezaraku this Micah Parsons, esque player.
Yeah.
This faux Micah player. Is this the game where you want to move him around and line him up over John Michael?
I tried, I want to do this. I think you got a really good plan there. The thing that I want to do is I feel like any way that you can attack this group when you watch them, and this is where the Commanders made some hay. And the Giants weren't really good. And Dan Quinn, we've seen Dan Quinn do this in the past. Dan Quinn's ability to play it with his front, move the front, twist the front, have guys, gap exchanges and things like that. That's on that side on the offensive side, but making these linemen have to work. And I feel like, though, that's where I would start. Make this group have to kind of chase you and pass stunts. I don't think they're particularly good at it. The Commanders were able to get away with it. Some of the stuff where the Commanders had guys standing up, and then just, it wasn't even hands down. It was just stand up and attack. And the Giants really, really, really struggled with that. So, yeah, I think the number one thing I would do would be put Kenny Clark over the top of John Michael Smith's the center, and I would do it in a way that attack his snap hand. He has a really hard time. He's a right-handed center, so he's a hard time. His left gets there, but then he's slow with his right because it's his snap hand, and that's how people break him down. They attack his snap hand, and he's not quick enough getting that hand up, and he's not strong enough to be able to keep people from knocking him back in there. So movement up front kind of affects how their tackles play, and then power, especially on the right tackle, power, quickness on the center. I think that's the areas that I would go at. But you mentioned moving Ezra Rocco around. It's a good opportunity to try and hunt some matchups here.
Now, the offensive line that you played last week,
Yeah.
they made you make an adjustment because Flus just wants to rush 4 guys.
Right.
You can't do that versus the Eagles,
No.
right? You're going to have to
You're
bring
gonna have
a
to bring
fifth guy.
more.
You're going to
Yeah.
have to blitz another guy. With this offensive line, Broaddus, and honestly, I feel like Runyon's a name that we recognize, but he can get it too.
Yeah.
Greg Van Buren,
Van Ruten.
Van Ruden. I feel like those are pants that they have in Macy's, Brian. Them
Van Ruten.
the Van Rudens, but he can get it as well. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying about Flus is like this week, if this is the week where Flus wants to be Flus and not move away from what he does, if he just wants to rush 4, it's a good week to just rush 4,
Right.
and get pressure with those guys. Now, I would love if he just texts you back so we can get an answer about this spot thing.
Yeah.
Because Russell Wilson will run around a little bit, but basically Flus wants to rush 4 so he can drop more back in coverage.
Right.
So he can muddy the looks,
Right.
right? Does that give you an opportunity to save an extra guy that you were blitzing last week? Okay, I'm not spying because I had to blitz a guy.
Right.
I don't have to blitz a guy this week.
Right.
Now we can spy Russell Wilson, Brian. Do you think that that's something that we can see this week? Pressure
Man,
with 4?
You know what? Let me ask you this. And
Laughing.
you asked a really good question. I'll ask it back to you.
Okay.
If he doesn't spy Hurts, you think he's going to spy Wilson?
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I'm just
That
saying.
is fair.
To me, if you gave me a choice of one or the other,
Spy Hurts.
I would spy Hurts before. The thing with Wilson though is,
Yeah.
and again, I'm sure you'll get into it on Thursday. You're going to tell me, hey, Broaddus, I watched this tape, and Russell Wilson's going to go through the middle of this pocket. I bet you anything. When we do our Thursday breakdown, you're going to show me tape of him running through the middle of these defenses and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, to me, that there was a time in that game he ran to the outside and got to the edge and got around the corner. They got down the goal line and he got whacked and fumbled the ball.
Yep.
And so but you do have to be worried about him running the ball. The problem he's having right now is there was a time, Voch, where Russell Wilson used to be really good throwing off platform.
Sure.
He can't do it anymore.
Prolonging the play, keeping his guys down.
Stepping up, moving back. Rod Marinelli, I've talked about this before. Rod Marinelli told me one time the way you play Russell Wilson is you make him play backwards. You make him play backwards. He's a shorter guy. Make him have to throw over the top of you. And there were times where Russell gets in Seattle where he would have a good pocket and he'd throw that moon ball and it would, come down and next thing you know, they're making a big play. But Rod always said, make him play backwards, make him play in the well, make him have to deal with, don't let him go forward and attack the line of scrimmage. But there were times in that Commanders game where they clearly found a way to make him have to kind of, throw the ball and throw it like sidearm. There was times where he felt the blitz and they're trying to get it out on third down and he throws it sidearm and he's falling down and nobody's even near him. And you're like going, man, what does this guy become?
Right.
There's a
He's
lot.
old.
He's older.
Which is why, Brian, the conversation that we'll have, I guess we can have it now. We're talking about Giants offense. Why do you think that Dayball isn't opting to go with Jackson Dart, the young guy? Because Jackson Dart looks solid in preseason.
Yeah, we it's so funny you say this, and I need to find this. Mark Schlereth was on with us on 105.3 The Fan yesterday, and he brought up and I don't know where he got this, but he said, he goes, hey, I heard that the coaches want to play Dart and the front office doesn't want to do it. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, the front office general manager is also about to get fired too.
Yeah.
So if he's having pushback on that, then something's wrong over there. When Dayball Voch said, I'm going to weigh all options, I really thought he was gonna. I thought he was gonna start. Now it might come down to, and Jane Slater said this. It might come down to about having the availability with Andrew Thomas. But as we talk about, is the ramp up? Is he going to be ramped up enough to be able to play? They need him to play, but maybe they feel like that they don't want to have
Hurt the young
Hudson out there, yeah, and hurt this guy this way.
Well, damn, I would feel terrible if I was Russell Wilson, and and that's the case. You rolling me out there with Hudson and Ella Minor.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and see, the thing about it is he's a captain.
Sure.
You know, he's got that C on his chest, and
Okay, so he's stuck there then.
he's kind of stuck there in way. But you're also looking at the Giants. If I'm Brian Daboll and Joe Shane and those guys, I am thinking like, how do I prove to ownership that we need to still be here? And maybe they didn't think they were going to get Jackson Dart. Yeah. Hell, when we were working on the draft, Voch and I, we were talking about, you didn't feel like the Giants were going to, Jackson Dart was probably somewhere the bottom of the first round, probably where he was taken. Sure. But you didn't expect the Giants to be the ones to make that move.
Yeah. It's interesting. When I was watching Dart in preseason, Brian,
looked good.
He had that fearless thing about him that he was doing at Ole Miss. When you watch Russell Wilson last week, or if you watch Russell Wilson when he was Pittsburgh, when he was in Pittsburgh, right? It's either short pass,
right,
deep ball, or bailout, and run.
Yeah,
like that's your three options. There's no intermediate over the middle.
Right.
There's no 10-yard out to the sideline or nothing like that. It's either a deep ball or like a. You saw a lot of play action,
right,
quick play action, quick dump off. Running backs coming up, boom, dump it down to you, right? If the Cowboys, and look, if they're going to go deep, it's going to be Nabers. Yeah. Hyatt is a guy that we thought would be a deep ball guy for them.
He was at Tennessee.
He was in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Did you see your boy Thornton, our draft guy?
Yeah.
Thornton with the Raiders. We'll talk about that later. I'm getting off track. It's either going to be Nabers.
Right.
Hyatt was supposed to be deep ball guy. We just didn't see it from him. Wan'Dale can move around and kind of threaten you a little bit, but I think I think the Cowboys will do great at this, and maybe we'll see some man coverage this week. If you deal with Nabers, in which I think you can, you only got one top tier receiver to deal with this week, and just deal and cover up the rest of them,
right,
and make Russell Wilson dump the ball down, come up and tackle. I think that's the plate. I think that's how you set yourself up to win this game, because that's all the Washington Football Wizards did.
Right,
like. Dump down, come up and tackle. And Russell Wilson threw like 40 passes, completed 17 of them, and most of them were dump offs.
Right.
Dump offs and yak stuff. So the Cowboys have to tackle this week, man.
Yeah, I think that when you mention, I would not be surprised if this is just feed Nabers the ball.
Sure.
And it sounds like listening to Jerry Jones talk again on 105.3 The Fan, and him bringing up the fact that it seems like that Diggs is now ready to play. So Diggs will get your full-time stuff there. You get you get Bland going again. So yeah, you could find ways to match up. And if you remember like Nabers' first year, when the first game, I think it was last year, the opening. Or maybe it was 2 years ago. It was one of the Giants games. I'm trying to think when he exactly.
Last year.
But last year they just loaded him up. Man, every ball went to him, and it became that kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and do that again. Yeah. The thing with Robinson that I find interesting is they will put him in the backfield, and they will use him as that guy that they swing the ball to in the flat. He'll also motion out of the backfield and then set up wide and do screen stuff. They'll try and get in ball on third down. They try and run picks. Like one of the first plays of the game, they try to run a pick with Nabers. So they're trying to do some things to create some opportunities here. But it's really about Nabers. Then Robinson would be the next factor that I think you have to worry about in this football game.
Watching.
Oh, by the way, too, Cam Scatteraboo.
He was better catching the ball than he was running.
But how about that? They put him out wide.
Yeah.
They put him out wide and they threw him the football. And so, they're trying to do some things of getting him. I wouldn't be surprised if he played more in this game too.
Which is weird though, because Tyrone Tracy, I would say, is the better catcher of the football. Because
right.
In college, he was a wide receiver his first 2 years, and then he went to running back. I wanted Tyrone Tracy to be a Cowboy, Brian. But anyway, that's another conversation too. My draft guys just keep on hitting. Krosky Merritt look great, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, Krosky Merritt, man, we talked about him yesterday on the NFL breakdowns.
Yeah. But they have two running backs that they can use. So
Right.
if they decide to put them both out there at the same time, and like maybe they'll throw the ball to Cam and maybe motion Tyrone out, or they'll motion Cam out like they did and just run it with Tyrone. They can make a weird looking setup like that.
Yeah, the predominantly the motions that I was seeing was from Robinson. 17, and then they moved Nabers around a little bit. But this was week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're going to try and find ways. I don't know if you're going to see somebody travel with Nabers in this game. I don't know if Diggs is up to that assignment. I don't know if Bland's up to that assignment. But to me, it was the more the movement was coming from 17, and they also Theo Johnson, the tight end, is kind of they'll double move. They'll move two guys, and then move a guy again.
Bellinger will be one.
Yeah. They move him quite a bit.
Boy, Flus plays so much zone, bro. I like according to the numbers, I haven't
100%,
100%, like all zone and no man.
Yeah.
So if they just gonna be running all zone, I don't think Diggs gonna be traveling with any.
No, I was about to say it's
they just
the minute you say travel and then Flus, it turns into what the hell are you talking about? Because he's not gonna do that. No.
But besides that though, Bryan Broaddus, like Wan'Dale Robinson is like Turpin for us, right?
Right.
But he just happened to be their second best receiver. Turpin's like our third or fourth guy. But move around and he not last week, mostly, but he has history of being like a gadgety kind of guy.
Right.
Right. Do you foresee them doing some gadgety type things with Wan'Dale Robinson to try to get because look, the Giants are gonna come in this game like they got nothing to lose. And they're gonna throw everything at us. Right. I can see Wan'Dale doing some gadgety, weird reverse double, triple stuff, Brian.
No, I don't. I'm not going to disagree with you there because I feel like that the Giants week 1 was not good, but I think their offensive line, as you brought up earlier in the show, they're going to have to get that thing a lot better. Maybe they'll get better as the season gets going on. Maybe they won't. But right now they kind of are who they are. Without Andrew Thomas in there, they're kind of limited to really what they could do. The problem they have is there's a lot of teams that have 1 or 2 guys you can attack. They have 3 guys you can attack. Maybe 4 guys you can attack there. And so that's a big problem for them, But how gadgety can you get? Now, the Cowboys are going to probably play them pretty straightforward.
Sure.
And maybe that's where you'll see more Maris Leofau in this game as like, okay, if Russell Wilson is going to, if you feel like that you can get pressure, if Nealon and Fowler and Williams and those guys can generate pressure, Clark can generate pressure, then maybe that's where you're going to play. He might play more base in this game, and then try and find a way to get Leofau out there on the field. And then if Russell Wilson does try and escape, and like I say, it's generally through the middle of the pocket is what you're going to deal there. So you got to be ready for him. You don't want quarterback runs to kill you in this game.
Sure.
You don't want it hurt you in the Philadelphia game last week.
Yeah. I just don't want Flus because we had a funny little funny there earlier, Brian. If you're not gonna spy Hurts, why would you spy Russ?
Yeah.
To practice spying.
You got some
for these next few quarterbacks. That's
got some. They're coming up.
You didn't spy Hurts because of negligence. Yeah. That's my own personal opinion. I think you lost that game because of negligence. Hurts didn't beat you in the air.
Right.
Hurts beat you with his feet. Right. So if you spy, then that's one less weapon for him. You make him throw, then you can muddy the looks, and maybe you'll get a pick or something, right? Russell Wilson isn't that kind of guy, but Jordan Love is coming. Caleb Williams is coming. Kyler Murray is coming.
Fields.
Justin Fields.
Fields ran for like 46 yards the other day.
Jaden Daniels, they are coming. So practice with Russ.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I'm Flus and this game, Cowboys, please take care of business and don't think of the Giants like I think the Cowboys would be fine. Like how they approach the competition of it. Like Dak hasn't lost to the Giants since he lost to him his rookie year.
In 2016.
Right? Yeah. So they'll be fine. But hey, this would be a good time. Hey, if Russell wants to run around, let's see what Leofau looks like spying. Let's see what Sanborn looks like spying. Let's see what Shamar James looks like spying.
Sure.
Marquise Bell, you want to come down and try some spying? So moving forward, when we need a spy guy, they can establish themselves as a spy guy. And when Overshown comes back, y'all can all get out the way because Overshown's going to be spy.
Yeah, no, Overshown will be the best one. So just to kind of put a bow on this one, though,
yes,
you feel like, though, that Dallas – where's Dallas have an advantage? Is it their defensive line against the Giants' offensive line, or is it – Do you feel like that they can cover Nabers and Robinson and Slayton and others in this game?
I think everything about the Giants is worse than what you saw last week.
Okay.
From the quarterback as a runner, quarterback as a passer, the running back, the offensive line as run blockers, the offensive line as pass blockers,
Right.
the tight ends aren't as good. Malik Nabers may be better than Smith and Brown.
Sure.
Nabers is fantastic.
He's a great player.
But as a defense, you don't really look at it like that. As a defense, you look like, okay, the Eagles just got 2 horses that we got to deal with. The Giants, you only got 1.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if the Cowboys are fighting anything, it's themselves, Brian. It's themselves. Go out there and take this thing seriously. Handle your business. Get a win in the conference and division and move on and get ready for the next one. Don't lose sight of the Giants, because if you lose to them, that's embarrassing. Now you're 0-2. That's a hell of a hole to dig
And you're
yourself out of.
0-2 in the division, too.
Division and the conference. That's a hell of a hole to dig yourself out of. So just stay focused, take care of your business. But to answer your question, you just ran into a Mailata, Johnson, Dickerson offensive line,
Right.
Juergens offensive line, to where when we were talking about finding the scrub,
Right.
it was Steen.
Right.
It was Steen and hope that you can find something with Dickerson and his back hurt or something like that. I think you got 4 guys that you can take advantage of.
Right.
And if Thomas don't play,
right,
even better. You know what I'm saying? Hudson, Ella Mignard, John Michael Smits,
Van Rotten. Yeah.
And look, I'm not even running from Runyon, because if you can whoop Dickerson, you can whoop Runyon.
Yeah.
Cowboys D-line takes over this game. I don't even expect the Giants to score, but it's division. You know how it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Couple points.
Giants looked like they had trouble, scoring in this game. The thing you have to kind of be a little bit worried about, and we'll get into the defense tomorrow, was that the Commanders. I'm looking forward to seeing them. What did the Commanders did? Were the Commanders playing with their food in this game? There was time when this thing was pretty close throughout.
Well, I don't think they good, Bryan Broaddus, because they out here losing to Cooper Rush and them. So that's why the Washington Football Wizards getting lucky in the playoffs. I don't have respect for them, Bryan Broaddus. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm more of a fan, so I bring the rivalry to it. The Washington Football Wizards still have to prove themselves to me. They have to prove this sophomore slump thing that could be a thing with them. But they didn't look great versus the Giants. So that's good for Cowboys fans.
Yeah,
you go play the Washington Football Wizards and they just whatever. But the Giants, just take care of your business. I think the Cowboys will be good.
Yeah, I think offensively though, I think the Cowboys defensively match up pretty well, especially if they attack. Yeah. Especially if they attack the middle of that Giants offensive line with John Michael Smits. I think you can win some one-on-one. Get as many one-on-one blocks as you can with him. Don't leave him uncovered. Don't let him be a guy that can kind of help with somebody else. Make sure that you make him play in this football game.
Appreciate you, Bryan.
Appreciate you, brother.
He fist bumped me with the Super Bowl ring.
Gave you some Super Bowl vibes.
There we go. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on this edition of the Doing All Right. We'll be right back tomorrow. You can expect us Monday through Friday unless there's a game going on or whatever, but there is not going to be a Thursday game for a while. So we're going to be right here giving y'all the goodness. We got film dropping tomorrow as well, so keep your eyes open for that, and you'll get a pod. So Thursdays, you get double the love.
Double the love.
Here, Bryan Broaddus. So please, y'all be ready. Follow Crown on all of his socials. Y'all hit the sub right now. Go in the comments and tell us if you disagree. If you think Ella Mignard is gonna come in here and smoke us, go in the comment section and let us know how wrong we are about John Michael Smith. Please, Bryn Broaddus on social medias on VOCHLONBARDI, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow. Crown.